All right, so today we're going to be working with complex synthetic substitution. We're going to evaluate the following function at f of 1 plus 3i. So we're going to take that 1 plus 3i and we're going to plug it in there for our x value and then see what we end up with our answer there. So plugging that in there, we get 1 plus 3i to the third minus 3 times 1 plus 3i squared plus 1 plus 3i and then minus 3. So that 1 plus 3i to the third, remember that means that we take 1 plus 3i and we got to write that 3 times. 1 plus 3i times 1 plus 3i. And then that 1 plus 3i squared means I have to write it out there twice. So 1 plus 3i times 1 plus 3i. And then I'm going to combine my like terms over here. I got 1 minus 3 here gives me a minus 2 plus 3i. So now we have to do some foiling here. So I'm going to leave the first 1 plus 3i, and I'm going to FOIL 1 plus 3i times 1 plus 3i, and then I'm going to FOIL the other set there as well. So obviously they're going to be the same answer. So we get 1 plus 3i there gives me 6i. And then 3i times 3i there gives me 9i squared, which ends up giving me a minus 9. And then the same occurs over here, 1 plus 6i plus 9i squared, and that becomes a minus 9. And we got a minus 2 plus 3i. So continue just to simplify what's inside those parentheses there. We get 1 plus 3i times negative 8 plus 6i times minus 3 times negative 8 plus 6i, and then minus 2 plus 3i. So we're getting there. We're going to FOIL out these first two, and we're going to distribute that 3 through that minus 3 through the parentheses there. So FOILing out the first two, we get negative 8 minus 24i plus 6i. 3i times 6i there is a minus 18. Negative 3 times negative 8 there gives me a positive 24 minus 18i, and I still have a minus 2 plus 3i. So everything is now FOILed out, distributed through, and now all we have to do is simply combine our like terms. So I'm going to start there with just my integers there and combine just the plain numbers there, the real part. So negative 8 minus 18, negative 26, plus 24 is negative 2, minus 2 is negative 4. And then we can go ahead and do the imaginary part there. We've got minus 24i, plus 6i, minus 18i, and plus 3i. So negative 24i plus 6i there gives us a negative 18i. And then we've got a negative 18i is a negative 36i, and then plus 3i gives us a negative 33i. So there is our solution there. So when you plug in 1 plus 3i there, we end up getting negative 4 minus 33i. And so this ends up not being a root. In order for it to be a root, we'd end up being 0 when we plugged it in there. But that's the value of 1 plus 3i when you substitute it into that function there. So let's look at another example here, and I'm going to show you a shorter cut here. Obviously, that's kind of long. So let's try another method here. We might want to do something different, but you might want to do that. It's up to you. So using synthetic division here is another method we can use. So I'm going to bring down 1, the coefficients, negative 2 and negative 3. I'm going to put 1 minus I here. And this time, instead of substituting in there, we could actually use synthetic division. So we're looking at the remainder for this portion. So I'm bringing down the 1. 1 times 1 minus I there is 1 minus I. And when I'm doing these, I make my real part line up and then my imaginary parts line up. So I get negative 1 minus I. Now I'm going to go ahead and FOIL out that. So if you can't do it, you can always come down here and farther and just go ahead and FOIL that out. So 1 times a minus 1 here is a minus 1. Middle terms here, I get an I at minus I, so they cancel out in this case. A negative I times a negative I here is a positive I squared. And I squared there has a value of -1, so I get -1 minus 1, which gives me -2. So we get -5. So f of 1 minus I there just ends up being -5. So again, looking at the remainder section here, that matches with what we do if we just substituted 1 minus I into the function for x's. It's up to you which method you want to use, but those are two different ones that we can choose from. Let's try another one here. This one here, we've got -2I. So if I use synthetic division here, I'd go 1, 4, 7, putting -2I. Bring down the 1. 1 times a -2I there is a -2I. And I'm going to put this here for now. You wouldn't have to, you just put it over to the side. But just remember here that when you add these together, you can't add 4 and a -2I there together. They're not like terms. So I get 4 minus 2I. Now I've got 4 minus 2I there, and I got to multiply that by -2I. So I'll come down here and just write it out so we can see it. So -2I, distributing it through, we get -8I plus 4I squared. And that simplifies to that 4I squared is -4, so I really get -4 minus 8I. So putting that up here, -4 minus 8I. Adding those together, I get 3 minus 8I. So that ends up being my solution there, 3 minus 8I. So again, your choice. Do you want to use synthetic division, or do you want to go ahead and just substitute the value in there? This is a kind of a tricky one. You've got to remember that there's a missing in this example here, the fourth example here, that there's missing an x squared term. So going ahead and using my coefficients again, 1, 0, 5, -11, putting 3 plus 2I in here, bringing down my first term of 1, multiplying that by 3 plus 2I. We end up getting 3 plus 2I, adding those together. 3 plus 2I times 3 plus 2I. If you don't know what that is, we can full it out coming down here. So we get 9. 3 times 3 is 9. Middle terms there is 6I, and 6I gives me 12I. And then 2I times 2I there ends up being 4I squared, which has a value of -4. So now combining my like terms there, I get 5 plus 12I. So 5 plus 12I. Going ahead and adding those together, I get 10 plus 12I. Now I've got 10 plus 12I there, and I have to multiply that by 3 plus 2I. So coming over here, fulling that out, multiplying that, I get 30, and I've got 20I plus 36I. 20I plus 36I is 56I. And then 2I times 12I there gives me 24I squared, which has a value of a -24. We can combine our like terms there. We get 6 plus 56I. So now going ahead and add that together, I get -5 plus 56I. So the value of f of 3 plus 2I there is -5 plus 56I. So again, synthetic division or synthetic substitution, it's up to you which one you prefer using. Just remember, if you're using synthetic division, if there's a term missing in that x to the third and you don't have an x squared in there, you got to put a 0 in there. So that's the often missed item on a worksheet or assignment or on a test there, that they forget the other term there. So assignment there is to go ahead and do the complex synthetic substitution worksheet, and then to do page 298, numbers 66 through 67. And so make sure 66 is not a multiple choice question. You have to answer each one of those questions, A, It has an answer, B has an answer, C has an answer, and D has an answer. And then 67, I want you to think through that and see if you can figure out why, what's going on with that. So you've got the rest of this time to work through that, so have at it.